What if I told you that the countries we know today, France, Germany, Italy, didn't even exist 200 years ago? That Europe was once a messy patchwork of kings, kingdoms, and confusing borders, and that a single painting, a powerful speech, and multiple efforts by revolutionaries helped spark a wave of nationalism that changed the world forever. Curious? Let's dive into the incredible story of how nations were born in Europe. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are diving into chapter 2 of your class 10th history textbook, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. In this video, we will introduce the idea of nationalism in Europe, we will discuss Frédéric Sorrieu's vision of nationalism, Ernst Reno's definition of what is a nation. Let's begin. This is Europe, and there are 44 countries in Europe at present. And they did not become countries at the same time. Instead, there were tribes or kingdoms ruled by kings, queens, or chiefs. There were different languages, different ways of life, and geographical boundaries. Battles were fought. Peace treaties were established. Geographical boundaries changed. Europe turned into a patchwork of many small areas. These slowly turned into the countries we know today, like France, Italy, Germany, and Spain. People in each country usually shared a language, food, and culture that made them feel like one big team. Over a period of time, some countries came together and some split apart. It was a process over a period of time. Now, we live in India, and as citizens of India, we have a lot of things in common. Could be food, festivals, culture, way of life. We all have something or the other in common. But imagine people living in big empires and kingdoms. They speak different languages, follow different traditions, and didn't always feel like they belonged together, but were forced to live together because of the monarch or king ruling them. Politically, things began to shift in Europe. New ideas were emerging. People were becoming literate and they started thinking more on these terms. One such idea which developed was nationalism. Yes, the idea of nationalism came before the nations were formed. Now, what is this idea of nationalism? In easy language, it's the idea that people who share the same language, culture, history, and traditions should live in the same country and be proud of it. In this chapter, we are discussing a long time period, starting from the French Revolution in 1789 till the beginning of the First World War in 1914. 125 years of changes that shaped Europe. Now let's begin the chapter by looking at figure 1. Please remember the time period. It is 1848. By this time, some nations are formed, some are in the process, and some are still making effort to become a nation. Frédéric Sorrieu, a French artist, had a dream of a world made up of democratic and social republics, as he called them. He prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream. Figure 1 is the first print of this series. This print shows the people of Europe and America, men and women of all ages and social classes, marching in a grand procession and offering respect to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by it. She holds the torch of enlightenment in one hand, which symbolizes the spreading of new ideas, and the Charter of the Rights of Man. This is a document which listed the rights of people during the French Revolution. Above them, angels, saints, and even Christ watch from the clouds, symbolizing peace and brotherhood. On the ground, broken crowns and symbols of absolutist kings, proving their rule is over. Absolutist literally means a government or system of rule that had all the power, like a dictator, and nobody can go against them. Now this was Sorrieu's utopian vision, that is, something unlikely to actually exist. It is his imagination, and he believed that it was too good to be true, that they could get freedom and eventually become nations. So he had this dream where the people of the world are grouped as distinct nations, identified through their flags and national costume. Leading the procession are the United States and Switzerland, which by this time were already nation-states. It seemed like the Statue of Liberty symbolized the starting point of freedom. So both US and Switzerland have crossed the Statue of Liberty. France has just reached the statue, and Germany is following France and is a little behind. Interestingly, there was no German nation at this time. It was divided into principalities, and Sorrieu used the flag to represent the liberal hopes of people in 1848 to unify the numerous German-speaking principalities into a nation-state under a democratic constitution. Many other flags representing other nations are also in the procession, like people of Austria, the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies and Lombardy, which later became part of Italy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary, and Russia. None of these were nations by that time, except USA and Switzerland. Look closely at this painting. Do you think art can inspire political change? What would you put in your painting of a perfect nation? Is it peace, freedom, equality, or something else? Tell us in the comments. Now, as mentioned earlier, we are going to cover 125 years of European history. We will look at the political and intellectual shift in Europe, which brought the idea of nationalism, and nation-states were formed, replacing the multinational dynastic empires of Europe. We have been using the term nation-state. Let's understand the meaning too. The idea of a modern state where one central government controls a certain area of land. This idea had already developed in Europe, but the idea of nation-state was developing. A nation-state is more than just a government in charge. In a nation-state, most people feel connected because they share a common identity, history, or background. This feeling of unity didn't happen on its own. It developed over time through struggles and efforts by both leaders and ordinary people. Let's look at source A. Years later, in 1882, another Frenchman, Ernst Reno, gave a powerful lecture. What is a nation? So he's trying to define a nation. Ernst Reno said that a nation is not based on common language, race, religion, or territory, as many people thought. Instead, he believed that a nation is made by people who share a common past and have a desire to live together in the present and future. According to him, what truly creates a nation is its shared history, especially one of struggles, sacrifices, and glory. A sense of unity, solidarity, and will to stay together. Daily plebiscite, meaning a daily decision by the people to remain united willingly by choice, like a vote of trust every day, not something forced on them by rulers or military power. According to Reno, nations were important because nations protect freedom and give people a sense of identity. If there was only one world government, individual liberty could be lost. Therefore, having many nations is a good and necessary thing because it supports freedom, diversity, and self-rule. Reno said a nation is a daily vote, a choice to stay united. That's powerful, right? If you could choose, would you rather live in one huge global country or many smaller nations with their own identity? Type one world or many nations and tell us why. That's it for today. Stay tuned for part 2. You'll find the notes next. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more easy to understand lessons. See you next time. Thank you.